Hey there, Wastelanders, it's Brother Mike, and thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be asking one big controversial question, and that is, did Fallout Season 2 completely retcon and destroy what we did during the events of Fallout New Vegas? Let's talk about it. Now, before we start, I have to make it crystal clear. I am not a New Vegas fanboy. I'm not even a Fallout 4 fanboy. I am a Fallout 3 purist. So, before you guys say, oh, he's just defending... Vegas is not my favorite, first of all. While I do really enjoy it, and it is high up there on my list, I like Fallout 3 just a little bit better. But that's my personal opinion. And a lot of this stuff will be my personal opinions in this video. But first, we have to go over straight facts. It is not possible for the NCR, the Legion, Mr. House, and potentially Yes Man to all be alive at the end of Fallout New Vegas. That is not a possible ending. There is no possible way that that can actually be done. The most you can do is have Mr. House and the NCR alive at the same time, but they aren't even on good terms. So why are you saying this, Brother Mike? Because what they show us in Fallout Season 2 is that the Legion is still in the Mojave, presumably never pushed out, which means they must have had to win. But then the NCR is still in the Mojave and were never pushed out, which means they could have won. And then we see Mr. House come back alive with a downed Yes Man in front of him. But Mr. House says that he thanks Cooper for bringing him back to life. So what is it? Is it a distorted ending? Is it a Yes Man ending with a Mr. House backup taking over in the end? Which, if you want to see more about that theory, the video is right here. What's going on? Because we don't have any clear say. And we know that the writers wanted to do a everyone thinks they won. Well, the biggest thing with keeping the ending ambiguous and making that everyone thinks they won means that no one won, and that each and every single one of our playthroughs has now been invalidated because the writers couldn't pick an ending. Yet they go with Mr. House full on not to choose him as the canon ending. It doesn't make sense. I mean, if Lucy and the Ghoul approached Vegas and it was taken over by the Legion and they had started their renaissance and were starting to change and use technology and weapons, that would have been better than, hey, look, see this place that you really liked during the game? It's destroyed. Now, I know war never changes, but that is not what war never changes mean. War never changes doesn't mean everything gets destroyed every 10 years and anything we do in these games is for nothing. Especially because of how it is heavily, heavily pushed on the courier and the player that what we're doing in the Mojave will change it forever. Just for 15 years later, you not to know anything that happened. That is lazy writing, and to be honest, they kind of ruined the ending of New Vegas. They didn't ruin New Vegas as a whole. You can't make something new and ruin something in the past. And the people who are saying that, oh, I can't even play the game now, grow up. Seriously, grow up. They may have botched the ending big time. They may have done a whole filler season just to make a few more bucks for Season 2 and showing us New Vegas. But that doesn't mean your experience is invalidated. Because guess what? You can do something this easy. The show isn't canon to me. Wow, I can play the games again. But that's not how I think. That's how I'm just... that's what you should do. For those out there who are unable to play the game because of a show that rushed its writing process to push out a new season and gave us a horrible rendition of Vegas. And I know you may say, Brother Mike, you say you like the show. Why do you talk so bad about it? Because I can be critical about things I like. That's how things work. That's how opinions work. You don't need to be one-sided. And if you guys know anything, there's a lot of things I love about the Fallout show. A lot of new stuff they introduced with Mr. House, with Vault Tech, with the Enclave especially. But there's other things they did where they rushed. They made things too convenient. they destroyed areas for really no reason other than, hey, this is something you like, it's destroyed now, and we're not going to give you any lore behind it, other than the death claws that were sent to Quarry Junction, that moved into Quarry Junction, are now Enclave the entire time and just went to the wrong spot, and now they're finally in Vegas? Brother, what? What's going on? There's a lot of plot holes here. Not only with the Legion. I mean, you show us a camp that has maybe at the max 200, which this next Monday I'm watching through the entire Fallout show. We'll be sitting down and counting every single Legionary we see in that top shot of the camp after the fight. Because at the end of the season, we see thousands of Legionaries marching on Vegas. How? How are there two Caesars fighting for power in New Vegas yet out in Arizona or wherever on that botched map of the Brotherhood of Steel map that there was, there's a whole other Legion just chilling with no leader? How does that make sense? Why are you going to introduce an enemy and give us 13 minutes of screen time with them? And they're supposed to be the big bad? We got more of the Enclave, and we haven't even really seen them yet. What are you doing? It doesn't make sense, and I hope that they're not rushing in the writer's room right now. But they did kind of ruin the ending of New Vegas. In trying to appease to everyone, they have appeased to absolutely no one. I don't think anyone could sit down and genuinely... It's a lot of copium, seriously, if you're like, yeah, this was good. We don't know anything about that happened. Vegas is destroyed because they did not have enough money to do New Vegas, which, I mean, $150 million and about $30 to $40 million an episode. When you look at Night of the Seven Kingdoms and they had $8 million and were able to convey a better story in every single way whatsoever, and without all of the spectacles, which I understand. Fallout, all this money is going to these sets. These sets are really good. The stories are good, but there's certain choices they make with the writing that goes nowhere. You just give our main characters OP armor and weapons right at the end of the series because you had no way for them to naturally get them. You jump around the Mojave, only showing us really 4 places we remember, and 1, they're not done right, which wouldn't be bad if they did them correctly, but since they're done so poorly, and the stories around them are just utter garbage, it invalidates this place looking cool. Freeside was botched. New Vegas was botched. The only place that wasn't botched, which is really weird, was Camp Golf was bar for bar what it was in the games. I don't know. Now, we're going to still be in Vegas at the start of this next season, which I really don't like, because they're just going to do more messing up. And yes, it's cool that there's 40 NCR soldiers up against thousands of legionaries, and that Mr. House will probably come in and save the day with his Securitrons. But here's the biggest thing. If you go and look at my season finale guessing, I literally guessed everything that was going to happen. A 21-year-old who makes Fallout videos, who has no background in any actual writing for movie or TV shows, should not be able to guess every single big thing that is going to happen in your finale because it is so predictable. Because it was. And this next season, we're now going to finally see the Ghoul's journey to Colorado. Why didn't we see the Ghoul and Lucy's journey to Vegas? Why do you spawn us in the middle of Novak, which you set up to hang the Ghoul, yet if you go to the original location in Novak and you stare out of the dyno, it is a perfect line of sight at the overpass where traders and everyone passes through. Why wouldn't you hang the Ghoul there? As a sign to others not to mess with you. So, no, we just have to redo all of Novak. See, if there was a real reason they redid Novak that made more sense, it would be better. But just for the purpose of having Lucy confront a bunch of cons who you've now just made basic raiders, doesn't make sense. And then we see Freeside, and even though it is literally just an L, that is what it is a street and an L, it looks well. The Atomic Wrangler sign as well. The Atomic Wrangler is literally nothing like it is in the game. And when you look at the Atomic Wrangler pre-war to post-war, one thing changes. Nothing gets dirty, one thing changes. It is the mounted animal behind the bartender. It goes from like a deer or something to something mutated, like a boar or something. Now, I know the Atomic Wrangler inside is a horrendous and empty building, but there's not even a stage. You couldn't... if you show me Vegas and the Strip and Freeside, I can go, oh, that's Freeside. If you show me a photo of this, I go, it's a bar with a table and a big chandelier. None of that is in the Atomic Wrangler. And then you show us Fisto, which should be in the Atomic Wrangler, and he's out at a taco shop we've never seen before, and they show us all these new the Mojave chapter school or whatever that they find the ghoul at. It just doesn't make sense. Why are you bringing in new locations to it? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And I know that they were trying to appease to their most feral side of the community, but I feel like it's just made them more feral. I mean, anyone who I know that is like a New Vegas purist is absolutely freaking out about what they did, because it's straight disrespect. Like, even if it's true, which I don't think it's true, because you guys have to realize, Vegas made Bethesda and Todd Howard a lot of money. They're gonna love the game. Why wouldn't they? There's no reason for them to destroy something like that. It just doesn't really make any logical sense to me at all. I mean, we're all over the place. We're skipping from storyline to storyline, going in between Vegas and all the way back to California. And for I mind you, a horrible 2 storylines. One of the strongest stories in the first season, and something I was so excited to see in this second season, was the Vault story. All we got was Betty versus the Snack Club, and we don't even get to see what it ends with. You force us to watch through that. Wasted time every single episode for literally nothing. We don't get to see it in the end. All we see is Steph. We see Steph in 3 other episodes. We don't really care about him. You made one of the coolest characters now just... yes, she's Canadian. Yes, she's married to Hank now. That's crazy. But what are you doing? You made the one of the coolest, which, looking back at it, you go, how can they make this one of the most compelling stories in the first season, one of the plots in the first season, and they're all just in one place? And it's because of the writing, of the drama, of the characters, not dumbing down the leader of the Snack Club, who I can't even remember his name because they don't say it. He's not significant at all. You dumb him down, you dumb Lucy down, you make the ghoul more angry. The only characters that stayed the same from season to season were Maximus and Thaddeus. Everyone else had drastic changes in their personality as well, just so it would add more to the story. It doesn't add anything to the story. And also, I don't care if I just sold you into slavery. If you punch me out of a window and give me a Looney Tunes getting impaled through a spike forming a ghoul hole, I am going to kill you the next time I see you. The ghoul isn't going to go, that's not who the ghoul is. The ghoul hasn't changed that much as a character in this season. So that was just unnecessary for them to bring in super mutants, the whole Ron Perlman thing. I mean, yeah, a ghoul could maybe survive that. They're gonna die. You can't survive with the hole that big in your chest. And yes, when Ron Perlman shoved uranium inside of Cooper Howard's ghoul hole, yes, that is a fix. They do feed off of radiation, but is that just gonna go totally under the radar now, and we're never going to address it again? And was that a reason to retcon this drug that the ghoul has been taking and has had been a big emphasis, which also breaks past ghoul lore because we don't know if every ghoul needs this or only the ghouls that are going feral? Do you guys see what I'm talking about? For every 2 good things they add, there's about 4 things that they go, oh, we forgot about that. And it's small stuff that really, you could ask ChatGPT this stuff. Pull a Stranger Things, for God's sake. Because what's going on? In the end, I'm really disappointed with this season. Well, I loved it a lot. They gave us you can't hint New Vegas in your first season and then get all of us excited to go see it, and then not only kill off some of our favorite factions in front of us, make all these factions a mere shell of what they once were. Like, the Legion are just kind of soy boys who like to dress up and such, and then the NCR is just the NCR at this point. At this point, it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how any of this transpired. There's really here's the only possible way we could have gotten the ending that we saw in Fallout Season 2. Yes Man wins. He takes over the dam and he tells the courier he's going to update himself to make himself more authoritative. A personality upgrade. Well, that personality upgrade isn't just an upgrade. It's a takeover, and it's Mr. House reestablishing himself back into the Lucky 38 systems. Now, we know he can do this from Raoul. There was a whole scandal. The girl in the Lucky 38 penthouse got her brain scanned and has been in that robot for years and years and years. So we know Mr. House has the technology. He's also a genius. We know he'd back himself up. Now that we're over that, after a while, he comes back online, kicks the courier out, or potentially even kills the courier. And in the meantime, just like what is told when Mr. House wins, General Oliver and President Kimball are not going to just take this. Especially because it is President Kimball's main goal of his presidency is taking the Mojave Wasteland. And so they go all in on New Vegas. Regular attacks, dwindling down its defenses and also its walls. And then in one final big attack, they blow a hole in the side of New Vegas where that new entrance is. And they're still unsuccessful. Yet in that time, somehow Mr. House is able to make it a new entrance into New Vegas, while the death claws from Quarry Junction that have now been sent by the Enclave make their way to New Vegas. See how bad this sounds? And then Mr. House... Oh, and then the Legion at the same time probably destroys or makes Hoover Dam inoperable, which is why we see the Lucky 38 not powered to full capacity, and Mr. House is in his coma once again. And then they also went and attacked Camp McCarran. Sorry, forgot it. There's so much BS I have to go over. And then made their way into the Strip to get killed by a bunch of Deathclaws and be put in Gomorrah. And then what they did was go all the way back and start fighting again. So they've been fighting this whole time because the only reason they're fighting the whole time was, shout out to the viewer that said this. I don't remember who, but shout out you, bro. If you say it was you in the comments, I'll pin your thing or whatever. But it's very clear that the only reason they have the Legion fighting each other is because the Legion would just be advancing on Vegas, so they have to have them occupied for 15 years somehow. They've been fighting amongst themselves in one explosion. When they say that they've been tossing grenades over the thing the whole time, brother, what is going on in the writing room? Have someone look over the script before you go over it. But we're not done yet. And so Mr. House goes offline, but is most likely killed by maybe the courier, but he probably already was killed by the courier, but we're not 100% sure, so he still may be alive. He may have just been disconnected. And then Vegas goes under, Deathclaws, and nothing happens for 10 years. 15 years. Nothing happens. Literally nothing happens. No one comes in. Also, everyone that worked at the casinos on the strip now are not there because the only people we see are bellhops, which we never saw in the game, and then, like, dancing girls. We don't see any Omerta outfits. We don't see any White Glove outfits. We don't see any of the Topps Casino outfits, the chairman outfits. Where did they all go? Did they all get killed? But then why is everyone here wanting their jobs back and wanting to go back to their town? You won't even show us the factions that you made us help and talk to in the game. We saw one of them, the Khans. That's it. Disregarding the Legion and the, you know, the ones you have to help. Or for each ending. You know what I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. And they totally botched it. The writing makes no sense. Please tell me from that how any of that makes sense. Please. And the worst part is I still liked the season. But the thing is your pre-war moments shouldn't outshine your post-war moments. Because Fallout is set post-war. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And it's because they don't spend all this money, which it's a double-edged sword. It's either spend all this money to make stuff look realistic, but go half-ass on the plot. Half-ass. Because if you look at Season 1, it really forms a good story. You can follow it. You're all over the place. They're fast-traveling all over the Mojave. They're up by kind of Novak, and then they pass Vegas and go far behind it, maybe past Red Rock, into the Vault 21 or 24, whatever the heck it's called. And then they go all the way over past Vegas, and then they finally make it to Vegas when they've probably went by Vegas 4 to 5 times now, maybe 6 or 7. Like, what's going on? It's really it's a spit in the face that they think that because they're only appealing to us this season. No one who has not played the games understands what is going on. They don't understand the Legion. They don't understand what's happening to Vegas. They think it's just always been destroyed and that Mr. House failed in his mission to protect Vegas from the bombs, which he didn't. So why disrespect every single faction, every single thing? It makes no sense. Because, and this is the last time I'm going to say it because I love saying it, in their efforts to appeal to everyone, they literally have appealed to nobody. Nobody likes what they did. Nobody. Nobody. And I vouch for them any way I can. I stood up for them when they nuked Shady Sands. And now I don't. Because that was even a whole hoopla, which we're not even going to get in, which is how the hell did Hank get a NCR soldier from miles and miles away while lugging Betty, so he loved Betty in her late 50s, all the way to the Mojave Wasteland. Stole a dude, also stole a chip which hadn't been perfected yet, but was apparently able to work. Got a nuke that's Robco outfitted, by the way. Not even Vault Tech. It is a Robco nuke. Has the animations, design, everything. Hank did not build that. Sorry, Hank did not. I don't care what they say. Hank is not a bomb expert like that. I don't think anyone could really have the facilities to arm a nuclear bomb at this time. Yes, he's pre-war, but bro's more on the experimentation side of things. But we don't even know, because is Hank a scientist now? Out of nowhere? I thought he was an overseer. Even the whole chip thing. And the way that they present time. I don't know. I'm getting a little worked up. So, yeah, they totally botched Season 2's writing. And they totally invalidated the ending of Fallout New Vegas. So, if you don't agree with me, let's argue about it in the comments. And if you like this video and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I make Fallout videos and all sorts of different other videos soon coming out. So, yeah. And also, I want to thank you guys again. We're at 1,435 or 33 subscribers the last time I checked, so I appreciate it. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. And if you're watching this, there's a big likelihood that I'm already live right now playing some Kingdom Come Deliverance. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and with all that being said, you don't forget. You are cared for, you are loved, and you stay safe out there, Wastelanders.